Hey Muslims, it must be amazing having to emulate such a guy like Muhammad. Emulating the Prophet, right, would also include being comfortable with accepting the practices that he taught and the things that he did in his life, like having sexual intercourse with a 9-year-old girl. But that's besides the point. Let's get back to emulating the Prophet. Now Allah has actually instructed this on Muslims in 33:21, where Allah's perfect words tell us, certainly is for you in the Messenger of Allah an excellent example. For one who has hope in Allah and in the last day and remembers in Allah much. Allah has made his messenger Muhammad an excellent example. Now, one of these examples that he set for mankind, right, was kind of out of the ordinary, right? So, inside of the hadiths of Sunan Abi Dawud, book 1, is hadith 67. It goes like this. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, I heard that the people asked the Prophet of Allah, water is brought for you from the well of Buddha. It is a well in which dead dogs, menstrual clothes, and excrement of people are thrown. Let me say that one more time. It is a well in which dead dogs, menstrual clothes. If you don't know what menstrual clothes are, well, it's basically clothes soiled with period blood, And it says, excrement of people are also thrown in this well. The Messenger of Allah replied, verily, the water is pure and not defiled by anything. It was pure. No, not defiled by anything. What? And another person, right, same, by the way, Sunan Abi Dawud's book 1, hadith 66, goes on to tell us that it was narrated from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The people asked the Messenger of Allah, can we perform ablution out of the well of Buddha, which is the same well that was, had excrement of people, had dead dogs in it, had clothes soiled with period blood. Anyways, ablution is, ablution is basically where you perform wudu and clean yourself. In this process, you wash your hands, you rinse your mouth, right, with the water. And he said that you could rinse your mouth with water, completely contaminated with menstrual cycle clothes and dead dogs and disgusting things. And then it says you clean your nose with it, wash your face with it, wash your arms, wipe your head, wipe your ears, wash your feet, all that kind of good stuff. Muhammad said it was pure and not defiled, and you could put feces, like water contaminated by feces, in your nose, in your mouth, and rinse your mouth with it. Anyways, it says perform ablution out of the well of Buddha, which is a well into which menstrual clothes, dead dogs, and stinking things which were thrown. He said the water is pure and not defiled by anything.
And the preacher said that sin's been washed away too. Neither God nor man's got nothing on me now. Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
Right, so there you go. Would you, now I'm going to ask you Muslims, right? If I pulled up, right, with a bucket with dead dog entrails in it, some clothes soiled with period blood, just washed in there real good, right? And I take a shit in it, right? And then I tell you to perform wudu with it, right? Start rinsing your mouth with it. Would you do that? Would you say this water is pure? Well, the Prophet did, right? The Prophet said that this is pure, and people asked him, hey, can we perform wudu in here? Can we do this? He said, yes, you can. You can. So, Muslims, that's my first question, right? Would you perform wudu, rinse your mouth with this contaminated bucket, right? The forbidden bucket, okay? Muslims are also called, right, to be okay with cutting their own daughter's hand off, right? We could go into this hadith. Sunan an-Nasai 4891, books 46, hadith 22. Says very clearly, a woman from Banu Makhzam stole something, and she was brought to the Prophet. She sought the protection of Salama, but the Prophet said, if Fatima bin Muhammad were to steal, cut off her hand, and he'd ordered that her hand would to be cut off. Now, Fatima bin Muhammad, right, is Muhammad's daughter, Fatima, right, and he ordered, right, well, he didn't order that her hand would be cut off, but he used that as an example. He said, if I were to catch my very own daughter stealing, I would cut off her hand. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think anybody would be okay with amputating their own daughter's hand, right? But, this is for all times, a prophet of peace, the prophet that brought the word to the Gentiles, as they say, even though Jesus Christ did that. But, this is what he said, that he would cut off his very own daughter's hand, and Muslims would have to say, yeah, this is perfect. This is a good teaching that if you were to catch your own daughter stealing, you would to cut her hand off. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that something?
عليكم القتال وهو كره لكم وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون.
Fighting has been enjoined upon you while it is hateful to you. But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not.
Now, the Quran literally says verbatim that fighting has been enjoined upon you, and if you don't like it, then that's bad, and perhaps that if you don't like something, it is good for you to like that thing, and you should ignore your dislike of it. Now, you harmonize this with how Muhammad got his livelihood. It gets pretty morbid pretty quick. In Musnad Ahmed 5114, we are told, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I have been sent with the sword to ensure that Allah alone is worshipped, and has no partner, to have my sustenance under the shade of my spear, and to make dishonor and humiliation upon whoever opposes my command. Now, other translations, right, use the words, instead of sustenance, they use the words provision. Now, sustenance, provision, you could obviously, you know, how do you make a living, supply with food, drink, like provided by, right? Basically an action of providing, right, and providing money, right? This is how he would provide himself money. So the way that Muhammad would get a livelihood and the way that Muhammad would basically make a living is by the shadow of his spear, right? So we get from that, right, if we compare that to the other hadiths where we're told in Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 1, book 2, hadith number 35, narrated by Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, the person who participates in holy battles in Allah's cause and nothing compels him to do so except belief in Allah and his apostles will be recompensed by Allah, either with a reward or booty if he survives. Listen to this, okay? So if he survives, he gets booty and this is his reward, or will be admitted to paradise if he is killed. So there's two good things about jihad, right? Many Muslims, they say, if I look at the barrel of a gun, I see this, right? But really, Muhammad, he said, I either see a bunch of money or paradise, right? Remember that. All right, and it says, or will be admitted to paradise if he is killed in the battle as a martyr. Had I not found it difficult for my followers, then I would not remain behind any Sharia going for jihad, and I would have loved to be martyred in Allah's cause, then made alive, then martyred, and then made alive, and then martyred in his cause. So Muhammad says, if I really could, I want to be dead, get killed, get raised back up, go cause people to die, get killed, go rise back up, go kill people, get that. That's what Muhammad did, and we're supposed to emulate this guy, a guy that wants to die and kill and die and kill and die and kill. This is insanity. This is what I'm trying to say. He is a madman. How many more do I have to read, folks? Like, we're gonna keep going though, but this, like, look how insane this stuff is, really. If you put it all together, he says he gets money, and then this hadith, he says, if this is the reason why, right? He likes to do jihad. Because he either gets money or he goes to paradise. I mean, the reason why he says he goes to paradise, and we are told from another hadith that a kafir and his killer will not be joined together in hellfire. So, like, it says that if you kill a kafir, you and him will not be joined together in hellfire. You'll be far from him in paradise. It's coming from the Prophet. So if you really get this sick, demented teaching, it's saying that go cause people to die, go commit jihad, and there's two reasons why to do this: to get money or to go to paradise. And he has no respect for previous followers, right? So, like, if you follow this religion and, like, you know, you leave, you don't even get really a second chance to think about it. You're pretty much considered an apostate, and under Islamic rule, under Muhammad's mind, you're considered dead. Let's consider Sahih al-Bukhari 3017 for this topic, right? It says, Ali burnt some people, and this news reached to Ibn Abbas, who said, had I been in his place, I would not have burnt them. As the Prophet said, don't punish anybody with Allah's punishment. No doubt I would have killed them. For the Prophet said, if somebody, a Muslim, right, discards his religion, kill him. If a Muslim discards his religion, kill him. Right? If he says, I'm not a Muslim anymore, I'm having doubts, kill him. Kill him. We're even told in the Quran in 22:15 that if you have any doubts in Allah, go kill yourself. And these are the teachings of Muhammad. Like, this is the stuff we're supposed to emulate. This is honestly disgusting, immoral, wrong. And on top of that, Ali, right, is literally the son-in-law of the Prophet. He let this murderer, who's sick in the head, he burnt people alive, and he's killed other people. I've literally made other videos and mentioned about how he's murdered poets, helps Muhammad in murders and all sorts of things, right? But anyways, Ali, he let him his daughter, Muhammad's daughter, is married to a killer and a murderer, right? This religion, right? And nobody really talks about it, but Islam, if you really think about it, Islam was built by tyrants and murderers. That's it. That's as far as it goes for you. And there's another thing, right, that we always bring up, but Muhammad did consummate a marriage with a young girl who was 9 years of age, Aisha. Now Aisha, right, she would play with dolls, and that would mean that she was premature, right? She hadn't hit puberty. That would mean that he was having sex with prepubescent girls. All of her little girlfriends, they would hide themselves from him. They were scared of him. And moreover, people like to say this was a custom of the times. 1400 years ago, was allowed to stick your dick inside of a 9-year-old girl and scare little girls. Now it's not okay. I'm gonna show you a few clips of, this stuff. These clips were like around from 2015 till now, and I'm just gonna show you a few clips. I want you to make up your mind and see if this is the custom of the times, right?
Nujud Ali was just an 8-year-old child when her father arranged for her to get married. She was one of 16 children. She loved school and playing games with her brothers and sisters.
حصلت لي قالوا زواجها جابوا لي ملابس وأدوات لبست أنا وراحوا بيسووا لي الميك اب وأنا حتى صغيرة كنت فرحة بالأشياء هذه بس مش عارفة إني زواجها أو إني معنى زواجها.
The man she married was 3 times her age. He was a delivery driver who lived in a distant village. Nujud's father made a deal with his family.
أنت ليش زوجت نجود؟
والله زوجت أنا من ظروف حكمت علينا. وكانت الحالة متعبة ولا حد وسع.
Amazing story about an 11-year-old Yemeni girl. Her name is Anada Al-Ahtal, and her parents decided that even though she was 11, they were going to give her away to get married. And she obviously did not want to do this, and the reasons are not only obvious, but ones that she's going to lay out. She actually made a video. The video is amazing. We're going to show it to you almost in its entirety here because it's so passionate and it's such a great argument against some of the old cultural norms that are still left over in large parts of the world that we really need to get beyond. Listen to her.
أنا صح إنني هربت من أهلي صح أنا ما عاد أشتيش عندهم خلاص أنا أعيش عند عمي إيش براءة الطفولة إيش ذنب الأطفال من تتزوجوهم كذا يعني مثلا أنا بحل مشكلتي صح بس بعض الأطفال براءتهم ما يحلوش مشكلتهم يمكن يموتوا يمكن ينتحروا يمكن يفعلوا اللي براسهم لأنهم أطفال ما يدروش بحاجة يعني عندهم ما تعلموش ولا درسوا ولا حاجة يعني إيش ذنبنا إحنا مش الوحيدة أنا يمكن كل الأطفال في ناس كثير بعض الأطفال يعني دبزوا بنفسهم بالبحر ما عاد باقي يعني إيش البراءة هذه ما إيش براءة صح إنني أنا هربت من عند عمي ما كانش موجود فأني اتصلت لعبد الجبار يجيبني وعبد الجبار جاب لي بنت وسافرته أنا إياها للحديدة وعمي لما عرف بالموضوع أجاني وكمان أمي تشتي بلغت علينا الشرطة أنا عمري 11 سنة وتشتي تزوجني يعني ما فيش حياة ما فيش تعليم ما فيش قوة ما فيش بين قلبهم رحمة إيش هذه التربية معهم الموت أرحم لي إنني أموت ولا أبقى أنا أفضل أن أكون عند عمي ولا أفضل عندهم يقتلوني يهددوني يقولوا لي إذا رحت عند عمك بنقتلك يعني إيش هذا إيش تهديد يهددوا الأطفال يرضيكم زي أنا كذا ها يزوجوني يرضيكم وكمان أنا عادي القتل عندي عادي ولا أعيش عندهم قتلوا أحلامنا قتلوا كل شيء اللي فينا يعني ما باقي هذه ما هي عاد تربية هذه قدرناها إجرام خالتي وهي خالتي عمرها 13 سنة فعلت سنة مع زوجها وقبت الغاز وتروشت به وماتت يعني كان يشل الحدايد هو يسكر وبينه مرض وبينه كل شيء يعني يرضيكم إنه يعني نتزوج يرضيكم يا أم اقنعي مني يا أهلي اقنعوني أنا ما اشتيكمش خلاص دمرتوا أحلامي كلها دمرتوها.
Remember, she's 11 years old. When you marry off an 11-year-old, what happens next? And oftentimes it's to grown men. The defense that we've always done it this way is not sufficient. Well, in this country for a long time, people made that defense about slavery. Well, we've always had slaves. It's not a good enough defense. In some parts of Central Asia, they literally kidnap their brides. They rape them, and then the bride's family comes over and convinces the bride to get married. Well, they've always done it that way. It's not good enough. You can't marry off your 11-year-old daughters. And she's right. What kind of parents give away a precious girl like that with unlimited potential? And they say, okay, from now on, your only purpose is to be the wife of this guy, and we're going to give you to him at the age of 11.
They have little girls being sold into marriages, right, to old-ass men who are like 3 to 5 times their age, right? So they're like, what we have here is people following, right, the teachings of a pedophile inside of a desert, right? He made a religion, right, and he condoned pedophilia. We could look at this response when Abu Bakr said, why are you marrying my daughter? Why are you doing this? Abu Bakr is the father of Aisha, by the way. And Muhammad's response is very simple. He says, in Allah's religion, in Allah's book, it's lawful for me to marry her. Right? So that's his response. In Allah's book and in Allah's religion, the reason why I'm marrying your 8-year-old daughter, right, is because I'm allowed to, right? It's permissible. And that's what's disgusting about Islam, right? Because now we have people in the 20th century still marrying little girls. Like, dude, this girl, right, she went out speaking about how she was going to kill herself if she was going to, be in this marriage. She's 11 years old. No 11-year-old shouldn't have to make a video like that. And they're only being done in Islam and in Islamic countries where Sharia law is being pushed. Wake up. It's not the custom of the times. That type of shit, pedophilia, Aisha type of shit, is still going on to this day. It's still going on right now. There are families selling their daughters into marriages with old ass men. Okay, and there's proof that these daughters are as young as 2 months of age, 2 months old. Okay, and that's the reality. That's the brutality of it. It's disgusting. It's brutal. It's honestly disturbing. And now you see, right, that they think that it's worthy to emulate these things. That they're literally marrying girls and selling their own daughters because of this pedophile ring, right? That's what we're gonna call it. Instead of a religion, it's a pedophile ring, right? Alright, so this video is getting a little bit too long, so I'm probably going to make it a part 2, make a part 2 of this one. But yeah, I hope you learn something new about the Prophet. Stay away from Islam. Leave a like, like and subscribe, comments as well, down below, and yeah, I'll see you next one.